The discussion began with a question about whether they feel bad when eating fish. Actually, the question was about the sustainable harvest. People sometimes get into a dilemma because it's immoral to criticize someone who's got to feed their family. But the bad fishing practices do happen when we eat fish. Then they talked about who should take the blame about the seafood conservation. The issue is actually a more top-down regulator, which is related to chef, consumer, and so on. And sometimes it takes political will. To prove this idea, they also took the MCIs in Bahama as an example. In the rest of this discussion, they began to seek for solutions to the fishery. Several ideas were come up, including strengthening education, regulation of industries, and so on. Though we can find the progress when compared with 20 years ago, we still wait for the technology to close the loop, which relies on wealth. In the last, they got the conclusion that anthropogenic influence is the key factor that decides the marine ecosystem. Now let's talk about the first question. I think it's extremely effective to promote sustainable seafood consumption because in today's market system, the production of fish commodities is consumption oriented. When we successfully promote sustainable seafood consumption, there is no doubt that culturists will think about how to satisfy the consumers by developing sustainability. And I think it's a consumer level responsibility because the policy is ultimately about adjusting consumers' behavior. However, the burden of conservation should lie on all of us, including governments, provider, and the consumer. Only the whole communities are involved in marine conservation. We can see a healthier Earth in the future. For the second question, in the discussion they talked about what the role MSC plays, what MSC is and how it came about. MSC certifies whether the certain fisheries products are caught and managed sustainably. In Bahama, when they tried to certify the spinning log-based fishery, fishers from Bahama tried to change their methods of management to pass the test. However, somebody debates whether the process is the right thing. The implications of awaiting a seafood certification for fishermen are that they get the right to use the stickers about it, and they can be sold in Walmart or the EU. In the last, I'd like to illustrate three innovative, sustainable ideas implemented in aquaculture. Firstly, the government applied the crop rotation to mariculture. Through the planning of government, mariculturists can do mariculture in the right places and time. Then the marine environment can be guaranteed. Secondly, the system of CL usage fee was a good idea to regulate the aquaculture, which can standard management of it. Last but not least, I found some mariculturists has adopted sustainable farming methods, such as offshore fish cage, industrialized production, and so on.